like, there's so much to say.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Discourse featuring me, DJ Tomiwa. This is the series where we discuss all things DJing and music, and today we're talking about some DJing. Yes, today we're going to be speaking about some of my harshest DJ lessons, some of my biggest mistakes, things that I've basically had to learn from experience, and I'm hoping that today I can pass on some things that you won't have to learn from experience because of this video. So I'm going to share my 3 harshest DJing lessons that I've learned over the course of my DJing career so far. Now, I will precursor this video by saying that most of my events do go well, and I'm not saying it's just to brag or anything like that. Like, generally most of my events actually do go well because I always try to put the hard work in. I always make sure I'm prepared, whether it's in terms of equipment, making sure I have enough sound equipment for the venue, making sure that I've spoken to the client and I have an idea of what I'm going to do, so I have the right music. I would never take a booking if I'm not prepared for it. If I don't feel that's a service I'm able to provide to a good standard, I won't take the booking. So what this has meant is that most of the bookings that I do, they tend to go quite well. And I have to say I'm very grateful for that because at the end of the day, there's always things that can go badly that are outside of your control. Which brings you on to my first lesson, and that lesson is basically the mistake of not having your DJ equipment insured. So I'll give you a quick scenario. I was doing a birthday party for a young person. I think they might have been 18 or 21. It was in their house. It was quite a small space. I've just set up my equipment in the corner and they're now bringing out the cake to, celebrate the birthday boy. One of the birthday boy's parents has obviously got very excited and got champagne, and they're about to basically throw the champagne on the birthday boy to celebrate. Unfortunately, he's standing just in front of me and my equipment. He moves out of the way very quickly, and then all the champagne goes all over my equipment, which then starts to malfunction. Needless to say, this is one of my worst events that I've done because the guests literally ruined my equipment. And then afterwards, I'm sure you can imagine, rather than offering to pay for the damages, they said, do you have insurance? And this gave me the harsh lesson that I can't just rely on luck, and I definitely can't rely on my clients to always look after my equipment. I need to make sure my stuff is insured so that if I have any major damages, I'm able to get the insurance to cover that, because obviously my DJ equipment is very expensive, costs thousands of pounds. If you're not familiar with that, go and check out my pricing video. I've never had to make a claim since then, but it's very helpful to have. There have been other scenarios where I've had like minor damage done to some of my equipment, whether it's somebody dropping a microphone. Sometimes people are careless with microphones, they want to do like a microphone drop, and that's not a good idea, guys. Or there was another occasion, which was definitely my fault, where I put my speaker in somewhere quite tight and there were kids around and they ran into it and almost knocked it down. These are sort of things that you need insurance for because you never know what's going to happen. So the first lesson that I learned was very much make sure you have insurance on your equipment. Don't trust people to help you look after your equipment because they won't do that. And also, as a special tip, make sure you place your speakers out of the way, or any of your equipment, whether it's wires on the floor. People will find a way to trip over wires unless they're taped down or in the very corner of the room. So make sure that you move all your equipment as far away from people as possible. Going on to my second lesson, this is all about making sure you have clear communication with your clients. So ordinarily in the process of booking me, I'll find out the time that your event starts or the time that you want me to be set up and playing music by. Then from the details of the event, whether it's location or whether it's the number of guests, I might arrive maybe an hour before, maybe 2 hours before. However, on this occasion, I think I didn't communicate this to my client. And what ended up happening is they were calling me 4 hours before the event started, asking, where are you? I said, I'm at home. And it actually ended up putting a lot of stress on me because I was thinking to myself, oh, what if something bad's happening? What if they're stressed out? I want my event to go well, I want it to go smoothly. And these are the sort of things you want to avoid basically with just clear communication. Other things that can be left out of communication is music expectations. For example, there was one time I was speaking to a couple about their wedding. Though one of the couple was Caribbean and the other one was African. When I asked them, do you want Caribbean music played at the event? They said no. They said we only want Afro beats. And I was thinking, okay, that's a bit strange. But when I got there, then all their guests wanted was soca music. And I was like, this isn't my speciality. I don't really have much soca music, and I hadn't prepared in advance. In the end, it didn't go too badly, but probably what would have helped in that situation is if I asked them, would your crowd like soca music? Will your friends and family like soca music? Will your friends and family like Caribbean music, whether it's bashment or reggae or whatever? And if I'd asked these questions, then probably I wouldn't have ended up in that situation. On another occasion, for example, again, speaking to the client beforehand, I was asking them if they want me to bring speakers for the event because I charge more, obviously, if I'm bringing speakers to provide for the crowd. And they said no. However, when I got to the event, unfortunately, the speakers that they provided were not sufficient for the event at all. And this ended up being a very, very stressful situation where I was trying to basically work out how to DJ on some really old speakers that are basically meant for like, they were basically designed for like a living room, but we're now in a big hall and they're not doing the job at all. So what I should have done is maybe I should have reassured the client that it actually would be worthwhile the money paying for the speakers, because I'm not going to charge you like a full rate for speaker hire in comparison to maybe if you get it externally. And also I'll make sure that the speakers work well for the event. You'll be guaranteed that you'll have speakers that make sure your guests have a good time, and maybe then the situation will end up differently. I also made the mistake of not bringing my speakers just in case, which I probably should have done, but that's besides the point. I think the most useful lesson here is just to make sure you communicate well with your clients, to have that relationship with them, to have that open stream of conversation so that you can bring up these things and it won't sound awkward or judgmental or even patronizing or intimidating for the client. On top of this, of course, you have your written terms, your written communication. You can have your terms and conditions where you might want to say, for example, going back to my first lesson, you put in the contract that if you damage my equipment, then you have to pay for it. So it all links together really. It's all lessons that you learn from experience. And the third lesson I want to emphasize is the importance of keeping cool. Okay, DJing can be very, very stressful. I'm sure other DJs out there that listen to this video can probably attest that when you're in the thick of things, it can be stressful. You're making sure that you've got everything set up perfectly. You're making sure you position your speakers in the right place in the room. You make sure all your equipment's like safe. You're thinking about what songs you're gonna play if you're a freestyle DJ. And you've prepared a lot, so you really do want your event to go really well. So anything coming to distract you can sometimes make you a little bit tense or a little bit on edge. But even beyond that, on some occasions, you can actually get really bad feedback from clients or from the crowd. So even for me, for example, I have had situations where clients have just come up and straight up shouted at me. It's not because I've shouted at them or because I've antagonized them. It's because they're frustrated about the music or something like that. So to give an example, again, there was another couple that were from 2 different countries, and one member of the family from one country were very angry that their music wasn't getting played as much as music from the other country. And they basically came to shout at me just after I turned off the music in front of everybody, which is extremely embarrassing. On another occasion, I was shouted at by somebody because I asked them what song do they want to enter to, they want to like dance into the room to. They didn't give me a song, they said you choose. I chose a song, they didn't like it, and you know, I got shouted at in front of everybody again. And naturally, as a DJ, sometimes you do want to shout back because you're angry. You're trying your best to make the party as good for everybody as possible. You want your clients in particular to be really happy. You prepared, you bought all your equipment, you're doing as much as you can. And even to make it worse, on both of these occasions, I was actually DJing for a very discounted price because I was DJing for people that are my friends and family. So it can build up and make you really frustrated and really angry. Having said that, you have to always remember that your position is a position of service. You're there to make people happy. You're there to make people enjoy themselves. And if they're not enjoying themselves, then, you know, fair enough. You need to try and work out why they're not enjoying themselves and try to do better. But it can look really bad on the DJ if they're known for shouting at guests or getting angry at guests. So this is something that I've had to learn very much the hard way. Thankfully, I've often got my wife there who is there to calm me down, because sometimes I do get hot-headed, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes she'll just give me one look and I'll just know, okay, I can't overextend this thing. And sometimes she'll even like grab my arm or something, which is very helpful. And if you need that, you need someone there to calm you down, then go ahead. But even when she's not there, I have to make sure I do a professional job. I have to make sure that everybody in the room leaves with at least a good impression of me, even if they don't like my music. Because as the DJ, you are the brand, so you can't separate yourself from your DJing, because you can't be like a moody or angry person and expect people to just be like, oh, I like your music, so I'm gonna book you. That's not always how it works. Yes, there will be those clients who think that because they're paying you, they can just talk to you anyhow, but you have to always remember that it's your brand at stake. So you have to do you, keep it professional, keep it service-like, and just let them do them. And also a pro tip, especially with Nigerian crowds, they do love DJs, but sometimes they show their love in a bit of a strange way. So sometimes with Nigerian crowds especially, they'll come up to you and they'll like angrily like tell you off, like, DJ, what's going on? Why are you not playing my song? But really what they actually mean is, I love what you're doing, DJ, you're doing an amazing job, just keep it up basically. It's kind of a weird one, but I kind of noticed this when I've had actually like my own like family members who I'm really close to, like kind of tell me off when I'm DJing. Like my mom will come up to me and she'll be like, why are you not playing Fireboy? Where's the Fireboy now? And I actually realized that actually what she's saying is, I love what you're doing, but I'd like some Fireboy too. So you have to kind of like not take it too personally and just appreciate that people are enjoying themselves. They're in a heightened state of kind of emotional frenzy, and you have to just allow them to enjoy themselves without getting offended over every little thing. Like I said in my early video, I talked about my story. At the end of the day, it is a privilege to DJ for people, and I'm very grateful for every single person that books me. So I have to remember that at all times and not get angry with them. So yeah, that's it for today, guys. A quite short one. What do you guys think? Do you agree with some of the lessons? Do you think there's other lessons? There are loads of lessons, of course. DJing is all about learning. It's all about every single gig is an opportunity to learn something, to level up, to develop yourself. It is a performance-based job, and it's all part of the journey, you know what I mean? I could have included other lessons such as writing a checklist to make sure you don't forget things, because you can easily forget one piece of equipment that can ruin your whole gig. I could include not leaving your equipment in the car because your car can get broken into. These are all lessons that I've learned over the years. So yeah, let me know if any lessons you find particularly useful or any lessons that you want to share, and maybe I'll speak about them next time. But yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe, leave a comment, all that stuff. That's what they always say. I'm probably gonna stop saying that, to be honest. It's kind of annoying. But yeah, thanks and stay blessed.